I took a process that took me years and years to figure out because we just didn't have the knowledge yet. I've had a lot of pet parents lately tell me, Melissa, I can't sleep at night. I'm getting woken up in the middle of the night because my dog is itching or they're licking. So many dogs and pets are plagued with allergies and anxiety at the same time. It's more than skin deep, it's gut deep. Hey there, did you know that your pet's allergies aren't actually a skin problem? They're a gut problem. How you doing today? Welcome to the Legacy Biome Podcast. I'm Melissa Natanson, your host. I'm a canine nutritionist, certified holistic pet health coach, and your pet's gut health advocate. I know that there's a lot of talk going around about allergies, what to do, how to treat, how to support, what we can do to get over them. Well, I have been through quite a journey when it comes to allergies, and I want to break down how allergies are connected to the gut, why allergies are connected to the gut, a few things that we don't talk about a lot, like histamine and what its role is in the gut and how an overabundance can cause these allergy issues. And I'm going to share a little bit about my story with Darla. I talked about it in a previous podcast, but I'm going to bring it up here again because she's kind of a, unfortunately, shining example of how a microbiome imbalance really caused severe allergies and how I got through it. I took a process that took me years and years to figure out because we just didn't have the knowledge yet. And I wasn't aware of FMT back then. And this was 11 years ago. And I don't even think it was really being used a lot, except for in specific cases. So we're going to go through it. We're going to break down the science behind the gut allergy connection. And I'm going to give you a pathway and a roadmap to allergy-free land. It is possible, my fellow pet parents and friends. It is possible. It may take a little bit of time. It may take a couple of months, but I can tell you that the juice is going to be worth the squeeze for sure, because we don't want our little pets to suffer. And I know that it's driving you, frankly, maybe a little crazy. I've had a lot of pet parents lately tell me, Melissa, I can't sleep at night. I'm getting woken up in the middle of the night because my dog is itching or they're licking. We all know the licking noise, or, they're going at their paws like corn cob style. It's exhausting. So let's get into it. Let's break it down. I want to give a little, we're going to revisit Darla a little bit. So Darla, my little pumpkin, my heart, when I rescued her about 12 years ago, she was losing the hair around her mouth. She had hot spots. She was losing hair in multiple areas. But when she was rescued, she was literally found in like a heap of trash because she was trying to survive. And she was eating like a low quality diet, probably on some junky kibble, and had been living off of trash. And so when we rescued her, she had giardia. She had gone through multiple rounds of antibiotic, and we know now that that can really do a good job of trash in the gut because the microbes have to be in balance. And sometimes it's not just about giving probiotics to restore. If the microbiome is out of balance, then it really puts the entire immune system out of balance. So here we've got little Darla. And I didn't know at the time how bad the microbiome imbalance was and how it was affecting her. I kept thinking, oh gosh, why is she having these allergies? I had a good background in human holistic health, and I knew that there was some gut involvement. So I thought, okay, we need to change our food. We need to throw a high dose probiotic at it and see if we can get anywhere. But we were still just kind of keeping symptoms at bay. And before I was even doing that, she was one of those that was waking up in the middle of the night. And I was starting to notice that literally when the wind would blow and kick up the pollen or the dust or whatever, she would break out in hives. And at one point, it got so bad, her eyes were swollen shut, poor little thing. And we went to the vet, and they said the only thing that we could really do at that time was steroids. And I didn't really want to keep going down that path. It was really tough. I didn't want to have to keep giving antihistamines or a steroid or anything to try and get my little gal relief. And I came upon a solution kind of unknowingly because many, many years later, she got C. diff, and that's a whole nother story that you can watch in my previous podcast. And the way we got through it is we did a Legacy Biome FMT. You want to know the amazing, amazing side effect of the Legacy Biome FMT? Darla hasn't had an allergy problem since. And the allergies were only a symptom of her IBD, leaky gut, and massively imbalanced microbiome. And all of the signs that she was showing me, she wasn't broken. There was nothing wrong with her skin. It was a massive red flag. Her body was trying to communicate with me saying, hey, my immune system isn't up to par. There's an immune system insufficiency. It is not a skin problem. It is a microbiome and immune system insufficiency. So let's dig in and kind of go through the science and go through some of the things that I think play an important part of why the gut is so important and why resetting with an FMT can be one of the most powerful tools in your pet parent toolbox. So let's dig into this a little bit more. You've probably heard the stat that about 70 to 90% of your pet's immune system lies in their gut. That's thanks to something called GALT, gut-associated lymphoid tissue. GALT is a specialized part of the immune system, and it's embedded directly into the lining of your dog's intestines. So think of it as the immune system's kind of first responder and training ground. It's constantly surveying everything that enters the gut and teaching immune cells what's dangerous, like a pathogen, or what's harmless, like food, pollen, or grass. Now, when your dog is eating kibble, exposed to antibiotics, vaccines, flea meds, or even chronic stress, the gut lining becomes inflamed or damaged, and that damage is called leaky gut, a condition where those tight junctions between intestinal cells start to loosen and allowing undigested food particles, toxins, bacteria, and other leaks to slip into the bloodstream. And who sees that mess first? GALT. When GALT is suddenly bombarded with all of this like out of place debris, it becomes confused, it gets overstimulated, and it starts sounding the alarm on everything like, hey. So no, your dog isn't broken, like Darla wasn't broken. It's just that their immune system is overwhelmed because the gut barrier is compromised. This is the real beginning of allergies, not a broken immune system, a confused one, triggered by gut inflammation and leaky gut. Your dog isn't suddenly allergic to beef or grass or even your couch. Their immune system is reacting to leaks in the gut that should have never been there in the first place. In other words, leaky gut creates the mess, GALT overreacts to the mess, and the result is allergies, chronic inflammation, and immune dysfunction. This overreaction can show up as, we've seen it and talked about it, red itchy skin, the paw licking, chronic ear infections, food sensitivities that seem to kind of grow over time, or even seasonal allergies that seem to never go away, or even just chronic allergies. So if your dog is dealing with any of those, we can't just treat the skin. We have to look inside. We heal the gut lining. We have to get GALT to calm the heck down and rebalance the microbiome, especially with tools like FMT. And I just also want to say that this is also how the food intolerance tests work. We're going to talk a little bit more about food intolerance tests as we get down there. But when I was talking about the immune system, it mounts an antibody response to these perceived invaders. And those antibody responses can sometimes be measured via IgG and IgA in a NutriScan test or in an energetic antibody response test like in Glacier Peaks. So histamine also plays a big role in allergic responses. This is why antihistamines are so popular. But what you may not know is histamine is kind of right in the middle of this all when it comes to your dog's gut. So let's talk about histamine. Histamine is a compound released by the immune system. It's in the body naturally, and it actually helps fight off perceived threats. But too much equals the inflammation, itchy, swelly, red, puffy, miserable allergic reactions we all hate to see, like Darla's hives. But here's what you might not know. Some gut bacteria actually produce histamine. Other strains, like a lactobacillus or a bifidobacteria, help degrade excess histamine. So that's why they were commonly used before, like, oh, let's give a probiotic. But this is a big deal because if your dog's microbiome is out of balance, if histamine producers are overgrown and the degraders are missing, histamine builds up in the body. And to make matters worse, there's another player. There's an enzyme responsible for breaking histamine down called DAO. That's diamine oxidase. It's produced in the gut lining. And guess what happens when the lining of the gut is inflamed or leaky? DAO production plummets. So now we've got more histamine producing bacteria, fewer degrading bacteria, a lower DAO, and a wide open gut barrier letting everything in. It's the perfect storm for chronic allergies. And this is why antihistamines like Benadryl or a med like Apoquel are just Band-Aids. They block the symptoms, but they do nothing to resolve the root cause. So we're going to get to more about, again, why FMT can be a real solution to healing the gut lining, restoring DAO so it's not suppressed, rebalancing the microbiome so there's more degraders, fewer producers of histamine, and restoring the system's tolerance and regulation. So now let's talk about another layer. I like to call them the forgotten peacekeepers of the gut world. So when your dog's gut bacteria are healthy, they make something powerful, short-chain fatty acids. The big three are butyrate, acetate, propionate. These short-chain fatty acids nourish the cells in the gut lining, and they help tighten those loose junctions, repairing leaky gut. So they also calm gut down, they tell it to chill out, and they support regulatory T cells, the peacekeepers of the immune system. They can also boost DAO production to help clear the excess histamine. Now add in the peace partner, branched-chain fatty acids, which come from protein digestion. They play a role in modulating inflammation during stress or during immune flare-ups like allergies. But here's the key. Your dog can't make these on their own. Only the right bacteria can produce them. So if those bacteria are missing, the body stays inflamed, and it's kind of like a city trying to run without power. And one of the things that we can start to see show up is anxiety in addition to allergies. So many dogs and pets are plagued with allergies and anxiety at the same time. And histamine and short-chain fatty acids and branched-chain fatty acids all play a part in that. And we're going to get into that. We're going to take a step back and kind of look at the big picture and how the gut and brain connection kind of plays a part here before we go back to what's the solution to allergies. So we're going to add one more layer. Your dog's gut is also home to something called the enteric nervous system, or ENS. This is what we call the second brain. You've heard of CNS, the central nervous system. But the ENS communicates with the CNS through the vagus nerve. And so when the gut is inflamed or the microbiome is imbalanced, this communication gets distorted. The signals are getting crossed. So you'll see often dogs with the itchy skin, the yeasty ears, the GI issues, and anxiety all at once. And this isn't a coincidence. The gut is the hub. The nervous system, the skin, and the immune system all respond to what's happening inside. So what do we do when the gut is a mess? The gut is misfiring, histamine is high, healing kind of seems like it's out of touch. We reset the system. How? FMT from Legacy Biome. This isn't just seeding with a few probiotics. It's replacing an entire ecosystem with one that works as a community, as a team. A healthy FMT donor like Dr. Margot Roman's dogs, they provide bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids and branched-chain fatty acids. They have microbes that help break down the histamine. They have the strains that stimulate DAO, the enzyme that helps break down histamine as well. And it's a balanced the community that helps rebuild the gut lining, restore the immune tolerance, and help, again, quiet down the gut, calm them down. This isn't just a theory. It's been backed by science and growing research in both human and vet med. And while some dogs see results in 2 to 4 weeks, if you have a pet that has had chronic or severe allergy issues for years and years and years, they may benefit from a 60-day FMT protocol rather than a 30-day protocol to really, truly replant, regrow, and reset. So just to go over, these are my steps again. We're going to rebuild. One, we're going to remove the triggers. So I was talking about how these foods can become triggers. The immune system responds to them. For right now, until the gut heals, we want to remove those triggers so the body is not in this cycle of overreacting so that it can have a chance to heal. I really like using a food intolerance test like Glacier Peak Holistics or NutriScan that will measure those IgG antibody responses so we can get to the bottom of it. It's a fast track rather than trying to raw dog an elimination diet if your pet has been dealing with this for a long time. Once you have those results and you know what your pet may be intolerant to, whether it's in the environment or with food, then take that knowledge and go to Dr. Judy Morgan's site and look at her pup loaf and her recipes there. Go to Dr. Ruth Roberts' site and look at her crock pet diet. You can craft biologically appropriate, high quality, anti-inflammatory food at home. For now, I understand that for some people, it doesn't always work to keep making their food at home. And there are some options that I like that are commercial as well. I'm going to put links in the comments and in the show notes to both of those diets so you can see. So I really like to rebuild with an anti-inflammatory diet after we've removed the triggers. So that rebuilding is an important part because the body needs those nutrients so it can get to work. And most importantly is the reset. Do 30 to 60 days of an FMT so that the gut has a chance to rebuild, reset, and reflourish to produce all those things. And now it kind of brings it full circle and you understand how much the microbiome plays a part in some of the major factors that cause these allergic reactions. The leaky gut, the DAO, the histamine, those are the major factors and why you see this stuff that comes out in the skin. When histamine gets huge, and you see the welts or whatever, that's histamine going through the gut wall. There's too much. It's an overabundance. It's in the bloodstream. It's flooding to the skin. So it all kind of starts to make sense. And it all started to make sense for me when it came to Darla that her hives, all the things that were going on with her allergies was because she had an imbalanced microbiome. And I think I mentioned earlier that she got C. diff years later and we did an FMT and the very, very amazing side effect of the FMT, I don't know if I should even call it that. I'll say, I don't know. It was a great side effect is that she hasn't had allergy issues since. Her skin looks so good. And I'm happy to report that she is now going to be 16 here soon. and she's still feeling pretty darn good. So FMT is something that I like to keep in my pet parent toolbox, as I mentioned before, and now I do them as maintenance for Darla. She's actually on one right now, so we do them every year. And I'm looking out the window right now. The wind's blowing like crazy. Not a hive in sight, everyone. So if you have found this episode helpful, I ask that you share it with your fellow pet parents, share it with friends that may be having a dog that's going through this. And I know sometimes we think about the investment that goes along with FMT. Yes, FMT may be more expensive than a box of Benadryl. But what's really the cost of not doing it? The allergies that keep on and keep coming back, seasonal or chronic, or if you get to the point where you have to do a steroid, or if you're getting to the point where you're going to have to be on a medication from the vet that just blocks the reaction or blocks the symptom, but it doesn't get rid of what's going on underneath. It's more than skin deep, it's gut deep. And so making this investment for your little pets can really just turn over a new leaf for them as far as their health goes. Because I don't want to say I wasted, because I learned so much, and it's part of why I'm here today and part of why I'm here helping you as your pet's gut health advocate. I spent years, at least 7, just tackling this daily with the allergies. And I wish I would have had a me to tell me, hey, this is what you need to do. But it's the reason I became a canine nutritionist. It's the reason I became a certified holistic pet health coach, because I didn't want anybody else to have to go through what Darla and I did. So both of us are here as teachers today and students, because I still learn from her every single day and I'm still learning. So again, thanks for joining. I hope you found this episode helpful and informative. Stay tuned for the next Legacy Biome podcast. We can't wait to see you then. If you've got comments or questions, go ahead, drop them in the comments, and we're going to have some links in the show notes for you. Have a wonderful day. And as always, positive vibes. Take care.